We got Jake Hadley versus Alan Nascimento. And this fight's going to be a scrap and a half. They got Hadley coming out minus 218, Nascimento plus 174. Jake Hadley is the fighter from England who came on to the Contender Series. I think he missed weight, if I'm not wrong. And then he still got the finish and was still amazingly rewarded a contract to the UFC by Dana White. He came out and he said, "Oh, this is going against everything. Sean doesn't want me to do it. Mick doesn't want me to do it." It was just awkward. It really was. But there's a reason why he did it, and it's because his record is legit, man. This guy's fought stallions outside of the UFC on his way to the Contender Series, and he's beaten them all. He's a really, really, really big 125er for a flyweight. And his grappling is no joke. He's been tested. He's been hit. He knows how to flip the switch and turn on that wrestling top pressure game. He's really hard to submit. He's 8-0 undefeated. You got Nascimento on the other side, who's more of a jiu-jitsu guy. He'll play the game. His stand-up is probably the best route for him to win this fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to play the jiu-jitsu game. It's just not smart in this matchup. Jake Hadley's going to be a big boy, and he's going to be wearing his wrestling boots. So I think Jake Hadley is going to be able to get this fight to the ground, and he gets people's backs like very, very well. Very swift on the ground. I think he's going to be able to grab a rear naked choke at some point in this fight. Nascimento is a jiu-jitsu guy, so I mean, this might turn into a little firecracker on the ground. I mean, these guys might be rolling, doing some different stuff, but I think that Jake Hadley's just going to have that size advantage and win the majority of the scrambles. Give me Jake Hadley. I know he's a favorite and he's coming in, which we don't like to usually do, but I'm taking him. Let's go, Goose.
Yeah, so if you've been watching these breakdowns, you know I hate the minus 200 favorites coming off of the Contender Series fighting UFC veterans. However, if Dana's going to make an exception for the rule, so can I, because this guy is legit. He's a big flyweight, and he's got good experience for someone coming in the UFC. Nascimento, he does play the jiu-jitsu game, but he's going to be playing it from his back against a guy with just as good jiu-jitsu on top of him. I think Hadley is going to get to the dominant positions, and I don't know if he gets the finish. I would say he probably does get the finish in this one, but I expect him to look dominant throughout, and my pick is going to be Jake Hadley in this one.
Yeah, 100%. He's extremely, promising talent coming out of England. There's a reason that Dana did not pass up on this man. So let's move on to the next fight. This one should be a firecracker. We got Frank Camacho making his return after 2 years away from the octagon. He is 22-9, stepping in against the UFC debuting Manuel Torres, coming out of Entrom Gym, 12-2, hot off a knockout on the Contender Series. Speaking about Contender Series prospects, this is a real one as well. Manuel Torres is legit on the feet. This guy is comfortable standing. He is accurate. He is precise. He is hungry. This guy is not from much. I mean, these are the kind of guys you do not want to be stepping into the octagon 2 years layoff. Like Frank Camacho, everything that I hear about, he's coming off of an old surgery in the last 2 years. I don't want to be mistaken, so don't at me on this, but I believe his family just was started. Like he's having like a lot of young children. He's taking time off. I follow him. He's living his good life. But for a guy that's used to getting in brawls, like coming off a surgery and stepping in to the octagon against Manuel Torres is not the move. I think Manuel Torres puts Frank Camacho away early. I think that there's just going to be a clear vision after this fight that it should have never happened. So, I mean, as bad as that sounds for a guy like Frank Camacho and a guy making his debut, I think it's really just that simple. I mean, Frank Camacho needs to just fight guys that are, more on the back seat. I feel like this is kind of ridiculous. But Manuel Torres is going to hit him hard. If Frank Camacho's back 100% after that 2-year layoff and his dome's okay and everything's going good, yeah, maybe we get like a fight of the night. But I don't think he can hang for that. So I think Manuel Torres puts him down early. What do you got, Goose?
Yeah, again, in this one, we got a favorite coming in off the Contender Series against a UFC vet. However, the UFC vet in this one, I want to say he's 2-5 with a split decision win in there. And he just has a knack for getting knocked out in the first round. I think it's happened to him 4 times in his career. Manuel Torres is going to start fast. He's out of Entrim Gym. He's training with guys like Marcelo Rojo, Brendan Moreno.
Squid Vicious.
Yeah, a lot. Squid Vicious. Like, he's got some dogs around him, and it's a bad matchup. You give me a young guy, hungry guy that's going to start fast versus a guy that really takes his time to get going, doesn't have the best chin. I mean, to be honest, for him being a UFC vet, I was trying to pick him. I was watching film, breaking down the stats for this, and then I pulled up Frank Camacho versus Justin Jane.
Take this guy out fast, and so far so good, and he's making it on. He's landed, and he hurt Camacho early. He's on his feet. Oh my goodness.
That's a bad fight to watch if you want to pick Frank Camacho, because he starts very slow and then he gets hit with the left hook. And for about 10 seconds, he's just eating punches, moving in slow motion until Herb Dean has to stop it. And if Justin Jane's getting you out of there quick, Manuel Torres is going to be a problem for you. So this is another one. If it gets past the first round, maybe see where the live bet line is at. Maybe Camacho becomes more appealing to me, but I see this one ending quickly. Manuel Torres, most likely first round knockout.
I also want to add about that Justin James reference. If you guys aren't too particularly sure who Justin James is, he is a bald fighter who made his debut against Frank Camacho and won that fight by knockout in the first round, and then proceeded to go 0-4 in his next 4 UFC bouts and is now out of the UFC. So since Frank Camacho has come out and lost to Justin James, he has not even stepped foot back in the octagon since he has been cut. So not very good looks for Frank Camacho. Manuel Torres, big stage right here. Let's see what happens. Frank Camacho is a black belt.
And on the one more note on the Justin Jane thing. So yes, he did go 0-4 after knocking out Camacho in 41 seconds. He went 0-4 in the UFC, cut, got a fight outside of the UFC and lost that as well. So not trending up.
We're into the next one. Enough shit talk on Frank Camacho. Caitlin Chookagian versus Amanda Ribas. Caitlin Chookagian will outclass Amanda Ribas on the feet, and there will be no takedown in this fight. That's my take. Give me Caitlin Chookagian by decision. What do you got, Goose?
Dude, Amanda Ribas is probably my number one UFC crush, to be honest. But I think you said it right. Chookagian, she has all the experience. If Ribas goes out and is getting takedowns, I could see this one edging her way, but it's going to be tough to do. She's going to be on the wrong end of a lot of jabs, a lot of twos, and a lot of just like grunts from Caitlin Chookagian. Even though, I don't know, she has gotten married, I think, between her last fight. She's Sermonera now or something, Caitlin Sermonera. So maybe she has had a lot going on. She hasn't been training as hard, but I think she should get the decision win in this one. So that's who I'm going to pick. Caitlin Chookagian, like you said, by decision.
Let's go. Next bout, we got Louis Smoka versus Davey Grant. Davey Grant's a dog, man. That's the first thing I think about when I hear Davey Grant, man. That man's a dog. Shit. Standing there with my boy Cheeto, eating punches, eating elbows, not going anywhere, still fighting back when everyone's like, damn, this guy is like dead. Like, how is this guy operating? That's the kind of heart you got when we're talking about Davy Grant, all right? Louis Smolka, on the other hand, not so much, all right? We want to talk about two guys that want to get into a slugging match. Let's take the one with the good chin, all right? Davy Grant. This guy eats punches, keeps walking forward, relentless pressure, gas tank. Louis Smolka, I mean, yeah, he's got a gas tank and stuff, but he just gets clipped. I mean, in his last handful of fights, you can just kind of go through and pick out like a handful of moments where he just gets fucking sat. So I mean, he gets triangle choked by Matt Snell. He also gets put in a guillotine by Casey Kenny. And then Vince Morales just lands a absolute haymaker on him. Not the best look because he's not even a big power puncher. Davy Grant, on the other hand, facing much better competition, getting hit with probably harder blows, if you want to be honest, eating them, delivering. I think that his striking is going to be very complex for Smoko to figure out. And I think that at the end of the day, when these two cars crash into each other, Davy Grant's going to be the one without much damage. So give me Davy Grant in this fight. I'm not going to say how it ends because I think it's going to be chaos. But I think Davy Grant's going to win just because he's got the chin advantage and just that warrior mentality. He's on the right path right now. What do you got, Goose?
Yeah, Davy Grant is really coming on. He has lost his last two after he had a good stretch of wins, but I mean, Cheeto and Adrian Yanez, those are two tough guys if you want to go out there and strike with them. And he did, and he made it close, but just got edged out at the end. If he hits Louis Smoko with some of those punches that he hit the previous two with, Louis Smoko is going to go out, though. And I think that's what happens in this one. Or even if he doesn't, he's at least going to have to respect it and get on the back foot, which if you're Louis Smolka, your best bet's to get takedowns in this one. And I don't see him being able to keep Davy Grant on his back. I don't see the striking exchanges going particularly well for him. So all that being said, give me Davy Grant, and I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Let's go. Next fight. This is an absolute schlauberlocker. We got Ryan Spann versus Ion Cutelaba, the fucking Hulk man. All right. So Ryan Spann, 19-7, Superman tattoo on his chest. We've seen his lights go off. He's getting a lot better. His striking's coming a long way. He still has a lot of holes. I mean, it's the gaps that he needed to fill were just too far to just fill them in a couple of fights. But you could see him making progress every time he steps in the octagon. I think in this fight, he's going to need to be very patient. He's going to need to survive the first round. Ion Cutelaba comes out in that round one, and he's dialed, man. And in the last couple of fights, he's been wrestling heavy. We've seen him get knocked out by Ankalaev twice. One of them debatable, but you saw how that went down when he comes out as like a wild man and he's not very dialed. He can get sparked, which is something I'm very worried about. He's very emotional per se when the fight starts, and his gas tank's very bad. So even though I do think Ion Cutelaba is going to come out and probably knock out Ryan Spann in the first round, I'm not confident enough to bet on it. I think that Ryan Spann is probably going to win a 3-round decision. Like it's like a 70% Ryan Spann decision, 30% Cutelaba finish in the first round. So I'm leaning Spann decision. This one I'm kind of in the air about because I think Cutelaba can win, but I just can't trust his gas tank. I'm taking Ryan Spann in this one. What you got, Goose?
Yeah, we got the Hulk versus the Superman in this. You know, it's going to be two big boys trying to throw the leather in the octagon, and I'm picking Cutelaba. I'm going with the Hulk. I think he's just more dangerous in there. He's fought better experience, and he's got a good chin. You know, if you're going to beat Ryan Spann, you got to have a good chin. Unless your name's Johnny Walker and you get knocked down twice and then somehow just get up and stun him. But I think Cutelaba is going to be able to put the pressure on him, get him down, and win those first 2 rounds. You know, I don't know if he does get him out of there, which with Ryan Spann's chin lately, he has a good possibility that he's going to go in there and get the knockout. But even if he doesn't, I see his cardio improving at least a little bit, enough that I think he can fight 2 strong rounds before gassing out in the third. So I'm going to take Ian Cutelaba in this one.
Yeah, he made the camp switch to Extreme Couture. He's looked a lot better. Cutelaba, if he comes out with a solid game plan, there's no reason why he can't pick up and put down Ryan Spann multiple times for 15 minutes. But his gas tank just always says no. And we're going to have to find out. I think this is going to be my fight for Ian Cutelaba. That's really going to tell me where he's at, because now he's been over there at that camp. It should be all figured out. Let's go to the next one. We got the main event. Aleksandar Rakić minus 190 versus the former champ Jan Blachowicz plus 155. The man who beat the kid, the style piece, the style bender tech. All right, well, he quit against Glover. We all saw that. That lost me a shit ton of money. That's the only hole I have in this whole thing, man. If Jan Blachowicz didn't show me that he was a quitter on one of the biggest nights of his life, I wouldn't have such a hard time, you know? Like, but in this situation, you're going to give me a guy, Aleksandar Rakić, that is going to pressure wrestle and is bigger than Jean and is going to be just applying pressure the whole fight. He's so athletic and all this stuff. It's going to take a Jan Blachowicz Polish power bang piece to put away Rakić and win this fight. And that's not something I'm here to bet on. He's going to need to earn this back from me, man. You can't quit in a title fight like that. I don't give a fuck if you're on your ass and you're mounted or whatever. Dude, that was the quickest tap, man. That was the quickest tap. Yeah, I got to get over that. But Rakić, more athletic. He's going to wrestle in this fight. I think that Jan has a hole in his wrestling game. Yes, he did it with Izzy. The weight advantage was unreal. We all know that. The weight advantage in this is lopsided. The other way around, I'm taking Rakić to come out. He's driven right now. He knows he needs to do a spectacular performance to make a boat for the title. I got Aleksandar Rakić by conservative decision. What do you got, Goose?
Yeah. So this fight was originally booked for UFC Columbus, which was in March. But Jan Blachowicz had to pull out with a leg injury. That does not bode well coming back in early May against one Aleksandar Rakić, because he is going to bring those nasty leg kicks. He's going to give you enough to worry about with the hands that he's going to be able to sneak a few of those kicks in. And you start getting 2 or 3 of those Rakić kicks even, and the damage is adding up. Then you start getting the legs beat up. Then he puts the takedowns on you, and he has that heavy top pressure while he's wrestling. We already saw Glover be able to kind of expose Jan, get his back, and make him tap. I don't know if Rakić is going to be able to do that, but I do think he will be able to beat up those legs, get the takedowns, and wind out these rounds from top position. So I'm going to pick Rakić in this one. He's got the size advantage. He's hungry. He's probably one fight away from the title. It lines up perfectly. You got Glover and Yuri fighting at UFC 275. Rakić probably gets the winner of that, and we could be looking at an Aleksandar Rakić, Yuri Prohaska. Not super fight, but very big fight at the end of this year. So yeah, I'm gonna take just like you, Rakić by decision. And then just last note, the Geeks, we've been going hard this year. We haven't missed a card. We've been on here every week giving you videos. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell for the boys. We've been hot. Show us some love.
Let's go. Last card, we went 2 for 3 on the parlays. Absolutely murking the prelims. We're the prelim goblins. I mean, We're just eating on them, Johns. Join the boys. Let's eat on these prelims. And we are clocking out, man. This can be a decent card. Nothing to cancel your plans for, but let's make some moolah. Geeks are out.
Boom.